All right, this is a review for the quiz on special right triangles and trigonometric ratios. So one recommendation I would have before you take the quiz is have a piece of paper out like this that has the 45, 45, 90 triangle rules. Have a piece of paper out like this that has the 30, 60, 90 triangle rules. Okay. And then maybe have a piece of paper out with the acronym SO, CA, TOA. Okay, so the first half of this quiz is on the special right triangles, the 45, 45, 90 triangles and the 30, 60, 90 triangles. Okay, and you know that because the question says leave your answers as radicals in simplest form. Okay, it's not the trigonometry because that gives you decimals. Okay, so number one, you have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. You can fill in the missing angle with 45 degrees. Let's solve for the missing sides. Now, both of the legs are the same in a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So if this leg is 5, then the other leg, which is y, also equals 5. And the rule to find the hypotenuse, and again, this comes from the rules right there. If you have a piece of paper, you should have that out. Write that on a piece of paper. Okay. The hypotenuse equals the leg times the square root of 2. Remember, the hypotenuse is the side across from the right angle. So in this case, it'll be x equals 5 square root of 2. Okay. Number 2, the same thing, the 45, 45, 90 triangle. You can fill in the missing angle as 45 degrees. Both legs are the same, so b equals 8. And the hypotenuse equals the leg times the square root of 2. So a equals 8 square root of 2. Number 3, let's label the missing angle as 45 degrees. Both of the legs are the same, so the missing leg is y. Y equals 5 square root of 2. Now the hypotenuse equals the leg times the square root of 2. This gets a little tricky. Okay, so the hypotenuse is x. X is going to equal the leg, which is 5 square root of 2, times the square root of 2. You should know what the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is off the top of your head. That equals 2. Okay, the square root of any number times itself. So the square root of any number times the square root of the same number is just the number without the square root symbol. So this is going to be 5 times 2, which means x equals 10. Number 4, you have the hypotenuse and you want to solve for the leg. So here's the formula. Leg equals hypotenuse divided by the square root of 2. So let's start with x. X is going to equal the hypotenuse, which is 7 square root of 2, divided by the square root of 2. The square root of 2's divide out, and you get x equals 7. And both the legs are the same in the 45, 45, 90 triangle. So if x equals 7, that means that y also equals 7. Okay. Number 5 is the hardest one on this type of problem. Label this angle as 45. This time you have to find a leg. Again, so leg equals hypotenuse divided by square root of 2. So the leg, let's start with u, equals 8 divided by the square root of 2. Now think back to the very first lesson in this unit. You cannot have a square root in the denominator. So you have to rationalize. You have to multiply by whatever this is over itself. Like I'm doing right here in blue. That gives me a new numerator of 8 square root of 2 over 2. Because in the denominator, you have the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, which is just 2. Simplify 8 over 2 to 4. U equals 4 square root of 2. And V is the exact same thing because they're both legs. Okay, so 1 through 5 are 45, 45, 90 triangles. Numbers 6 through 10 are going to be the other special triangles, 30, 60, 90. Okay, so number 6, this is the other special triangle. So again, there's 4 formulas. You want to have that out to the side somewhere. Let's label the missing angle as 30. And let's go. Now, it may be helpful to label ahead of time for these, so I'll do that. This is the short leg, because it's across from the 30-degree angle. This is the long leg, because it's across from the 60-degree angle. This is the hypotenuse, because it's across from the right angle. So first thing I'm going to say is the short leg equals the hypotenuse divided by 2. The short leg is V. So V equals 8 divided by 2. V equals 4. Then we'll solve for the long leg. Long leg equals short leg times square root of 3. The long leg is U. So U equals 4 square root of 3. Okay. Let's continue on. Number 7. Label the missing angle as 30. And let's label the 3 sides. So A is the hypotenuse, because it's across from the right angle. B is the short leg, because it's across from the 30-degree angle. And the 3 is the long leg, because it's across from the 60-degree angle. Let's start by finding the short leg. Short leg equals long leg divided by square root of 3. So B equals 3 divided by square root of 3. You cannot have a square root in the denominator, so you have to rationalize, like I'm doing in blue right here. My numerator will be 3 times square root of 3. My denominator will be 3. The 3's divide out, and you get B equals the square root of 3. Now we can find the hypotenuse, because the hypotenuse equals 2 times the short leg. Okay? And we know the short leg is B, so 2 times square root of 3. Number 8, I'll go a little faster now in the labeling part because we've done a bunch of these. 30 degrees right here. Long leg, short leg, hypotenuse. So I'll find the short leg first. Short leg equals long leg divided by square root of 3. Short leg is N. N equals 10 divided by square root of 3. Rationalize. That'll give you 10 square root of 3 over 3. You cannot simplify 10 over 3, so that's the final answer for n, messy as it may be. Now you can get the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse equals 2 times short leg. So m equals 2 times the answer we just got. So that'll give you 20 square root of 3 over 3. Okay. Two more on this before we move on to the trigonometry. Okay, so 60 degrees right here. Label the sides. Hypotenuse, short leg, long leg. Get the short leg first. Short leg equals long leg divided by square root of 3. N equals 4 square root of 3 divided by square root of 3. You don't have to rationalize because the square root of 3's just divide out, or they cancel out, as people say. So n equals 4. Hypotenuse equals 2 times short leg. Hypotenuse equals 2 times 4, which is 8. And last one, I'll go a little faster now. We've done a bunch of these. 30 degrees, hypotenuse, short leg, long leg. Short leg equals long leg divided by square root of 3. It all depends on what you're given. Y equals 5 after you divide out. X is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse equals 2 times short leg, so it equals 10. Okay, so that was 1 through 10. And then 11 through 20, find the missing side. It's not a 45, 45, 90 triangle. It's not a 30, 60, 90 triangle, so you can't use those. You have to use trigonometry. So, ka, toa. So first thing you should do is figure out, is it going to be sine, cosine, or tangent? So if you look at number 11, we're basing this off of the 43-degree angle. 10 is adjacent. X is hypotenuse. So which one has adjacent and hypotenuse in it? Cosine. So you do cosine of 43 degrees equals adjacent over hypotenuse, so equals 10 over x. Solve that for x by switching the x and the cosine 43, like this. Make sure your calculator is in the right mode. It must be in degree mode. So try this on your own to make sure you get the right answer. It should be about 13.7. If you don't get that, make sure you ask me before you take the quiz. That's what you should get from your calculator. 13.7. Nearest tenth, the directions say. Number 12, looking at the 44-degree angle. This will be opposite. This will be hypotenuse. So which trig function is that? Sine, cosine, or tangent? The top one, see, opposite hypotenuse. So sine of 44 degrees equals x over 20. Okay. Solve for x, you're going to multiply. X equals 20 times sine 44. That's what you're going to type in your calculator. Make sure you're in the right mode. So make sure you get the same answer as me. Otherwise, you're going to have to ask me before you take the quiz how to fix your calculator. Should be about 13.9. Last page. This is the opposite. This is hypotenuse. So again, that's going to be sine. Sine of 56 equals 16 over x. Switch the x and the sine 56 using some algebra. X equals 16 divided by sine of 56. $19.3. Again, I'll go a little faster now because we've done a few of them already. The next one's going to be tangent. Okay, so this will be opposite. This will be adjacent. Tangent 51 equals x over 20. Because opposite and adjacent is the one with tangent, see? So x equals 20 times tangent 51. $24.7. Number 15, we have adjacent and we have hypotenuse. So that's going to be cosine. Cosine 39 equals adjacent 12 over hypotenuse x. So x equals 12 divided by cosine 39. $15.4. Okay. 16, we have opposite and hypotenuse. So it'll be sine. Opposite, hypotenuse. Sine of 57 equals opposite x over hypotenuse 11. X equals 11 times sine 57. $9.2. Okay, a few more. I'll go a little faster now because we've done a bunch. So we have opposite and hypotenuse. So it'll be sine. Sine 18 equals x over 10. X equals 10 times sine of 18. $3.1. Number 18, we have opposite and adjacent, so it'll be tangent. Okay, opposite, adjacent. So tangent. Tangent 62 equals 12 over x. So x equals 12 divided by tangent 62. $6.4. Two more. Number 19 is going to be adjacent and hypotenuse. So it'll be cosine. Cosine of 30 equals x over 18. So x equals 18 times cosine 30. $15.6. Okay. And the last one, number 20, we have opposite and we have adjacent. So it'll be tangent, opposite, adjacent. So tangent of 65 equals opposite 12 over adjacent x. So x equals 12 divided by tangent 65. And when you type that, you should get approximately 5.6. All right. It's a hard quiz. It's a special right triangle, so 30, 60, 90 triangles, and 45, 45, 90 triangles. And then we have trigonometry, sine, cosine, and tangent.